From Chrysler Arena to courts around the world, they wore the maize and blue, and now they're bringing you the game, inside and out. Hail Media presents Nolan and Hobbs, the Women's Hoop Home Court podcast, hosted by Maddie Nolan and Jordan Hobbs.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Nolan and Hobbs show with me, Maddie Nolan, and my co-host, Jordan Hobbs.
Huge week for the Wolverines, just a really busy week. They played Illinois, won against Illinois, then they traveled to New Jersey, a tough loss against Vanderbilt. They're staying in New Jersey to play Rutgers this week, and then they travel back to Ann Arbor to play against USC. So a lot of games in a short span of time. We're going to break down the two that they have just recently played and then talk a little bit about what to expect in the two that are coming up.
Yeah, so big win against, at the time, number 25 ranked Illinois at Chrysler Center, got the win 85-69. Michigan came out strong in the Illinois game. First quarter outscored Illinois 27-13. The rest of the three quarters, they only outscored Illinois by 2. So impressive. Good for them to get the strong start. We saw Illinois fight back a little bit. Jordan, thoughts on the game? What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, it was a strong game. Illinois brought their best, and they had one of their starters out, Gretchen Dolan, who's one of the best scorers in the Big Ten. She's really creative around the rim. So I think it could have been a different game had she been playing. However, Barry Wallace, we mentioned her in the preview of the game. She killed it, had a great game, but Michigan just stuck with it. Like you said, they came out really strong, which helped them. Illinois cut it to 5 in the second half, and I loved how Michigan just stayed true to who they were. They hit some tough shots and were able to pull out the win.
I actually remember tuning in, and Olivia Olson hit a big transition 3 to kind of, cap off their run, Michigan's run, back to kind of a double-digit lead because Illinois was creeping back. So the ability of them to hold on to that and end up winning by 16 points. And it's weird to think about because Michigan's been ranked in the top 10 all year. It's their first, we call them signature wins when we were playing, Jay, but against a ranked team. If you think about it, Michigan hasn't beaten a ranked team yet. They have some good wins. Notre Dame's not ranked anymore. Obviously, that was a good win. Minnesota's a great win, but they haven't beat anyone that's ranked yet.
That is a really good point. It's crazy to think about just because their schedule has been so tough, and the Big Ten just seems like they have been so deep, and they are. I mean, the Big Ten is an incredible conference, and so many teams that they have played and won are receiving votes. Yeah. But that's crazy to think about that's the first ranked win. That's a really good point.
Thank you. So yeah, just a couple of statistics for you guys. Olsen with 21. We talked about Barry Wallace on Illinois. She had 26 points. Just insane performance by her. She's having a great year, as we said. Del Foss continues to be a spark off the bench. She had 15. But really everyone on Michigan playing well that game. They shot 47% from 3. Chrysler rims, those home rims are a little bit more forgiving than on the road. But just an overall great game, great win by Michigan. Gave them some momentum heading into the Coretta Scott King Classic against undefeated Vanderbilt. Crazy game, fun game at points to watch, stressful at others. I don't really enjoy being a spectator as much as I did playing. It makes me nervous. It makes me angry. But Vandy pulled out the win 72-69. Jay, what did you see?
Yeah, I mean, I just think against these really strong opponents, they need to come out a lot better. The first half against UConn, they found themselves in a deficit really early. The first half against Vanderbilt found themselves in a deficit, and you just have to climb back the rest of the game. And that's just really hard to be able to overcome a 20-point deficit against a top 5 team. And Vanderbilt overall, I was really surprised with their depth. You hear about Michaela Blake's all the time, and she had a good game. I mean, 14 points, but she's averaging 25. The Wolverines got her in foul trouble, which was really helpful. But Galvin, their point guard, was the star of the show. 20 points, 3 for 6 from the 3, only 3 turnovers. And with Michigan's pressure and her handling the ball, that's a really impressive number. She was the steady force. And as a freshman, just really impressive by Galvin.
that insane shot she had at the end of the shot clock, I was so mad. I was like, violation, violation, even though it wasn't. But I literally was looking at my phone like this. We had a 3v3 with our club sponsors on Monday. And so I was the scorekeeper on the sideline and I was watching the game and my teammates would like come and watch and they would be like asking me questions about it and I showed them that shot and they were all in awe as much as I was. They were, how did she make that? So yes, star of the game was definitely her. In my honest opinion, I just felt like Vanderbilt outplayed Michigan and looked like the better team in the first half. You have to give props to Michigan. I mean, of course, we're Michigan women's basketball fans, but to be able to claw back against UConn, to be able to claw back against Vanderbilt, some of the top defensive and offensive teams in the country when you're down 20 is no easy feat. For them to be able to do it twice, but like Jordan said, need to not get in those holes. So think about if Michigan wasn't down 15, down 28 points in that game. That's like a 10-point win for them. So just I think being able to figure it out, but you have to give, like I said, give Michigan credit for being able to come out after half, even honestly after the third quarter and or halfway through the third quarter and be able to make adjustments. They did a lot better job getting the backdoor cuts. They did a tremendous job offensive rebounding. That's what kept them in the game for the first half. Offensive rebounds and forced turnovers. They forced 17 turnovers. They had 18 offensive rebounds. Kendall Dudley for Michigan, huge in the first half. She had 16 points on 8 of 10 shooting. Huge for Michigan. In my opinion, really kept them in the game in that first half. So at the end of the first quarter, Vanderbilt was up 21-17. At the end of the second quarter, heading into halftime, they were up 47-30. Jay, what did you see from Vanderbilt? What did you not see from Michigan that maybe we're used to seeing?
I think overall, Michigan just looked really frantic, and I haven't really seen that from them this year. They've looked really comfortable, and honestly, I think it all kind of started with just the pressure that Vanderbilt was playing with. Their defense was really strong. They caused Mila overall to have 6 turnovers, which is very uncharacteristic of her. She hardly ever turns the ball over that much. So honestly, from that standpoint, when your point guard is a little bit frazzled, the rest of the team is going to be a little bit frazzled. So Vanderbilt did a really good job of speeding Michigan up, even more than they're used to playing. And overall, Michigan just looked frantic.
I completely agree when watching the game. I thought Vanderbilt did a great job of slowing Michigan down in transition, which is usually, I mean, Jordan and I have talked about it all season, their bread and butter. At the same time, they also didn't let Michigan get anything in the half court as easily as they're used to getting. So we see that action a lot with the back screen, with the flare screen. Coming off of ball screens was a lot harder for Michigan. A lot of times their shots were coming at the end of the shot clock or they were contested. A lot of the pick and roll stuff that they can finish pretty easily was either contested, blocked. There were a lot of tips and deflections. Michigan had 17 turnovers in the game. But just there was nothing clean in the first half. Maybe a couple offensive rebounds. Like we said, Kendall Dudley did amazing, really kept him in, but it just wasn't the Michigan offense as smooth and as flowing as we're used to seeing. And I mean, Vanderbilt's a great team. They're undefeated for a reason. I think it's also one of the first times that Michigan has been full court pressed, not man to man, but like actual, like kind of zone pressed by another team and by another team that's athletic and as strong and as tall as they are.
So we mentioned a big deficit by Michigan at halftime. End of the third quarter, they cut it to 8 points, 53-61, but that wasn't the full story. They kind of came out of halftime and still were kind of frantic, not really looking like themselves. But Maddie, how did they cut this lead from 5 minutes into the third quarter through the fourth?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it all year, being able to cause turnovers. Brooke Quarles-Daniels I remember vividly the pass on the blob, the baseline out of bounds for Vandy, about half court. She's guarding Michaela Blakes, got the tipped it out far enough, and just beat Blakes in a foot race, which we know Brooke Quarles-Daniels is fast. I don't think everyone understands how fast Michaela Blakes is, too. She's one of the leading scorers of the country because of how quick she is. So for Brooke, not only to be able to jump up, tip, like have the awareness of that, but to be able to beat her and have an easy layup. Like Michigan just got a lot easier shots. We saw them get more backdoor cuts. Like we said, we saw them get steals into layups. just a lot more fluidity in their offensive game. And shout out to them, shout out to Coach Rico making those second half adjustments, knowing the pressure that the Vandy defense posed in the first half.
I love that you brought up Brooke Quarles-Daniels, and I feel like we've given her a lot of praise on this podcast, and it is very warranted. She played in this game with so much heart and so much grit. Her stats, maybe she's not the highest point scorer. She probably hardly ever is on this team, but she is the glue to this team right now. She had 7 points, 10 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, and she's 5'6", 5'7". Like, that is pure hustle, pure heart, pure determination. And she wanted that win so bad. Yes, they fell short, but it's a great character building. It's great to see what you're made of. And hopefully they can figure out how to come out strong in the first half of these really, really important games, because they're going to need to figure something out come March when they're playing these really strong teams every week.
Yeah, and I think, playing the schedule, being able to play UConn, being able to play Vandy before March is only preparing them even more. And still have to remember, they're a very young team. Illinois was their first ranked win. This was their first top 10 game since UConn. So I think the spacing in between, they're used to not getting punched in the mouth first. And I think now, after learning from this game, they're definitely going to be, well, hopefully will be the aggressors coming out when they have to play a top 10 opponent in the Big Ten here in a couple of weeks. I mean, the Big Ten's full of them. So also after, Michigan had chances to win it at the end. Olivia Olson 3, I'll take that every time. We had Sila on the out of bounds play, great out of bounds draw up at the end. I thought it was going to be in. I was excited. So just 2 really good looks too. And like we said, this is great preparation for March. I'd rather lose this game, lose the UConn game now, and be ready to beat these teams in March than win them right now.
I also think this is going to prepare Michigan even before March. In February, 7 out of 8 of their games are ranked teams as of right now. So it is going to be an absolute gauntlet come February. Wow. I'm really excited to see how they respond game after game, whether it's a loss, whether it's a win. You can't get too high and you can't get too low, as Coach Rico loves to say. But it is so true, especially with the schedule that they have. So I'm excited to see how they respond and what they learn from it.
The other tricky part about February, you're nearing the end of the season, your body's a little sore, you're playing 2 to 3 games a week. So being able to figure that out against, like Jordan said, 7 of 8 opponents are ranked. So it's not only that you're playing 2 to 3 games a week, you're playing 30 to 40 minutes a week against tough opponents. You're giving it your all every single game. So recovery and all the other parts of the game are going to be just as important as the physical game in February. So, like we said, Michigan, big win, signature win against Illinois, tough, close, hard-fought loss to Vandy. Heading into Big Ten play Thursday against Rutgers in Jersey Mike's Arena, really hard arena to play in, oddly enough. And then following that up with USC. Jay, share with us what you know about Rutgers.
Rutgers 9-9 on the season. One of the worst teams in the Big Ten. I'm just going to be frank with you guys. Michigan should kill them. Also, as a player, I never wanted to play a team after they just lost. So hopefully it has the same effect, that Michigan is coming out really strong, angry that they just had a really close win, that they were this close to winning. And hopefully they come out guns a-blazing, just ready. As you mentioned, Jersey Mike's Arena is really hard to play in. It's really dark. There's hardly any fans. It's really quiet. So it's tough.
Really
and
dark.
They've been in New Jersey for a few days now. So it's been a long travel trip. I'm curious to see just how they come out and start this game. We mentioned it wasn't a great start against Vanderbilt, and you can change that even against teams that you are expected to win. You can come out really strong and build that habit. Rutgers does have 4 players in double figures. Nadia, I think that's how you pronounce it, averaging 15 points a game, 5.5 rebounds. However, they are not a great shooting team. They're shooting an average of 36% from field goal and 29% from 3. So hopefully Michigan's defense can cause them to be at even lower numbers than that. But overall, I'm really hoping it's a stress-free game that we get to watch.
That would be super ideal. Rutgers actually did just get their first Big Ten win against Penn State. They beat them by 4. We know Michigan beat Penn State, I think, by like 40 or 50. And we did the scouting report on that, which was really fun. But yeah, so Rutgers just got their first Big Ten win. as Jordan said, 4 players in double figures. A lot of them are shooting 30%. One of their starters is shooting 26% from the field, and she takes 10 shots a game. It's not like they're only taking 1 or 2 shots a game. Like, these are high volume shooters. They're just not shooting it at a high percentage. They only average 59.6 points per game. So we talked about Michigan averages almost 90. Maybe a little bit lower, probably closer to 85 now after the Vanderbilt game. In addition to that, Rutgers only averages 11.7 assists. We've talked about Michigan averages over 17. So just not either not sharing the ball super well, or when they do, they might just not be knocking down the shots. 4 of their 5 starters are transfers. And we've talked about how hard it is. And sometimes, maybe the win against Penn State was their first time being able to really gel, but Rutgers is definitely trying to figure out how to get all these players on the same page. Do have to give a shout out. Danny Edwards was an assistant coach at Michigan my first couple of years there. She's now an assistant coach at Rutgers. So I'll get to see her on the opposite sideline, but she was super big in my development. So I just have to give her a shout out. But yes, Michigan plays Rutgers Thursday at 6, following it up with playing a home game at Chrysler. Always good to be at home, especially after a long week on the road against USC. Jordan, what are you looking for in that game?
I'm excited for this USC game. It'll be another good test for Michigan, another time where the pressure's on Michigan to win. They should win this game. USC is 11-7 overall. Haven't had the season really that they were hoping, but Kennedy Smith has been out for a while, who's one of their best players, a great sophomore, one of the best defenders in the Big Ten. So if they can get her back into the lineup, it will be a lot tougher game. USC has recently fallen out of the rankings, but if Kennedy Smith comes back, I could see them getting back into the rankings. They have a phenomenal freshman, Jazzy Davidson. She is the real deal, averaging 16 points, almost 7 rebounds, and 4 assists as a freshman, and 2.4 blocks. Like, that is absolutely crazy to have as a freshman. Those are really incredible stats. So I'm excited to just see Michigan's defense on her and their game plan against USC.
Yeah, the tricky part too. I mean, everyone knows Juju's out for the season, so that changes things a lot. Kennedy Smith's out, so now you're relying heavily on a freshman to lead your team. She's averaging, like Jordan said, 16 points a game, almost close to 7 rebounds, but she does almost average 3 turnovers a game. Really look for Michigan to exploit that, which is very normal as a freshman being put in a position to score a lot. You're going to average more turnovers than normal. You're just trying to learn the system, learn how to be more physical, how to read quicker, faster defenders. So very normal. And obviously, she's a great player, but that is something I would look at for Michigan to exploit on Sunday. Someone else to look out for USC is Dunn. She's a transfer from Georgia Tech. I've gotten to watch USC a couple games this year. They've had some really fun games to watch at the beginning of the season, and she really impressed me. Can knock down the 3, can go inside. She has some nasty fadeaway jumpers, just super tough, can score on all 3 levels. So look for her and Davidson to really lead the push on offense and really defense on Sunday.
Another thing that makes USC really dangerous is their ability to shoot the 3. Dunn is averaging 39.2% from the 3, and London Jones is one of the most prolific 3-point shooters in the country. She's averaging 34.1% right now, but she has the ability to absolutely streak it from long range. We were on the receiving end of that at UCLA last year. She transferred from UCLA, and she absolutely hit dagger after dagger. So if she is on fire during this game, it will cause some problems for Michigan.
Definitely. I watched when USC played at Nebraska, also a really tough gym to play in. She hit 3 threes back-to-back in transition, really changed the game for them. So Michigan has to have a hand up. She is one of the shorter players on their team, so Michigan can definitely use their length against her, or put Brooke Quarles-Daniels, who we know has been a tremendous defender on her, super quick and can stay in front of her, have a high-handed contest. So definitely look for that matchup on Sunday as well. Also really exciting, Katelynn Flaherty's jersey, number 3, kind of a cool number, if I do say so myself, is getting honored on Saturday. All-time leading scorer, 2,700 points. I think she has the record still for most 3s made in the game. I really wanted to break that when I was there, but did not get super close. She made 10 against Penn State one year. So just super excited to have her back in Chrysler Arena and get to honor one of the best players that Michigan has ever had. And just shout out to Michigan women's basketball, Michigan athletics for honoring all these women that are so, so deserving. So make sure you guys go and get to celebrate Katelynn and just all the hard work and all the success that she had while she was at Michigan. I need to tell everyone, it's been 5 years, which makes me want to throw up, since Naz scored 50 points against Ohio State, which is so crazy to think about. But 5 years, and she had 50, which is insane. So shout out Naz. She holds the record. I think the Michigan points record for number of points in the game. I still remember that game. We lost. I'm pissed about it. I feel so bad. We did not do our job. Naz did her job. Did not do my job. So shout out Naz. The GOAT scoring 50 5 years ago. We're getting old. But yeah, and you guys can watch Naz kill it in Unrivaled. So make sure you're tuning into that as well. But shout out Naz.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Nolan and Hobbs Show. It was really fun recapping the Illinois and Vanderbilt games, as well as giving a little bit of a preview of what to expect as the Wolverines play Rutgers and then USC on Sunday at Chrysler. If you are able, please go to Chrysler Arena and watch, as Katelynn Flaherty's jersey will be getting hung up in the rafters. As always, go blue.
If you like this kind of content, please like, share, follow, and subscribe. And as always, go blue.
Deflected it out far enough and just beat excuse me.